From the same sort of people who brought you watch a bunch of game developers screaming in a public park to protest the state of the industry. We now have Brian Francis over at GameDeveloper.com writing about how at the Game Awards recently, a number of these same sort of game devs protested the state of the industry once again by holding this, what they're calling mock funeral. These are all the exact sort of AAA devs who love to use the games industry to interject their own political viewpoints and do their best to appeal to the modern audience. And if you're not familiar with this screaming event from last year, I'll play like a 4-second clip really quick so you can see what a disaster this was. As mentioned, this year at the Game Awards, they held this mock funeral though, with tombstones talking about like rip games, strangled by shareholders, oh we're done playing, unionized, wanted, David Zaslav. And it's like, yeah, sure, David Zaslav's arguably been a pretty bad CEO at Warner Discovery, but he's not responsible for what these modern audience devs do at completely different companies on their own accord. These are the sort of AAA game devs who hate gamers and ruin franchises like Dragon Age. Then they turn around and blame everything and everyone except themselves. They can do no wrong. And I love how they always make these blanket macro statements about the state of the industry being so terrible. But in reality, it's only AAA that's been getting wrecked, while the indie scene keeps getting more dubs. But you know how it is. This sort of group of AAA devs will always try to blame other people and other things and never take accountability for their own actions, but they'll certainly be the first ones to try and play victim when they see an opportunity. And then of course, back at GameDeveloper.com, they're glazing this event. Brian Francis over here is writing like these people are just like heroes for this performative, bizarre behavior. It's just so weird that one year these people will have like a screaming event at a public park, and the next year they're holding like a fake funeral outside the Game Awards. And GameDeveloper.com, where Brian Francis is, always appeals to these sort of game devs. They constantly defend this sort of behavior, and they love to like hate on gamers. This is the sort of place where they're like, oh, the gamers are all just chuds. For the record, Brian Francis just the other day was also signal boosting Jason Schreier and his failed hit campaign against Larian's CEO. Brian Francis was signal boosting that nonsense on his Blue Sky account, acting like Jason Schreier is so amazing and like Larian's so evil. If you're out of the loop on that situation, though, consider watching yesterday's video. It's too much to recap here, so I'm just gonna leave this one where we are. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.